be upon you. Do you follow the channel? Do you know? Recently, a new issue of the iPhone was released, and millions of people rushed to buy it. The new issue stands out with a new design, 2 cameras, and a set of excellent features, as is the case with every new release. People line up in long queues to be among the first to buy Apple's latest innovations, but it seems that this is nothing compared to what some people do to acquire this device. Let us introduce you to 5 bizarre things people actually did to get a new iPhone. 5. Sold his kidney for 2016. A 16-year-old Chinese boy wanted an iPad 2 so badly that he decided to sell one of his kidneys. The brokers who he met on the internet paid him 22,000 yuan, which is equivalent to about $3,500. That amount was not only enough for him to buy an iPad, but also a new iPhone. But that initiative led to a crisis, as the young man quickly began to suffer from kidney failure. When his mother found out, she tried to retrieve his kidney to solve the crisis. That year, all participants in that deal were arrested and charged with intentional harm and trafficking in human organs. It also turns out that they received $53,000 for the sale of the kidney, while the teenager who owned it received only a tenth of that amount. 4th, his girlfriend offered another story for rent to the cursed Apple cinema. This young man prepared a complete business plan aiming to buy the latest Apple devices. He stood in front of a university carrying a sign in which his girlfriend is offered for rent, in exchange for a reasonable amount starting from 10 yuan per hour up to 50 yuan per month. Knowing that he was not promoting anything inappropriate, as stated in the advertising sign, the renter can enjoy the company of the doll, sit next to it in the university, play video games with it, or accompany it on a trip within the limits. The story caused a media sensation, but the young man admitted that his girlfriend was involved in the publicity stunt. This crazy story happened in Siberia, Russia. The girl was desperate for an iPhone, but her husband had previously set a family budget that didn't include buying a new smartphone. So the girl decided to resort to theft. But she didn't want to steal just anything, she decided to steal herself. She staged a home invasion, scattering everything she could, took jewelry to sell it, and for more credibility, she even ripped her passport during the operation. In the course of the investigation, the investigators questioned her friends and neighbors without avail, but soon her story began to unravel, and what aroused suspicion after the investigation, she went from being a victim to a suspect, and now the naive girl faces a 6-year prison sentence. Secondly, she took a loan on behalf of a deceased person. This story also happened in Russia, where a funeral worker dreamed of buying a new iPhone, and luck was on his side when a passport fell into his hands. An old man recently died without thinking. The gravedigger went and bought the new phone on the dead man's account. He might have thought he got away with it, but his plan failed when the bank took advantage of the deceased's family, and of course the family went to the police, because it's impossible for the dead passport holder to borrow from the bank. The new iPhone owner might have to spend a few years in jail, but at least he finally achieved his dream. They sold their infant daughter last year for $2,316, sold to a jobless Chinese couple, their infant daughter, to buy a new iPhone. She offered her infant for sale on the internet before her birth, for 5,016 yuan, or about $8,000. The birth took place at home, and afterwards the parents handed the child over to the buyer, who in turn transferred the amount to their bank account. During their trial, the parents admitted that they did this for the child's benefit, so she could enjoy a generous life and better education. However, investigators scrutinized their story, and it became clear to them that they spent the money on buying a new iPhone, a luxury car, and other unnecessary accessories. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. See you tomorrow with a new video about God. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. All rights reserved to Al Talim channel.